Continue with the story as I take you live to London. Three South African journalists formally lodging a claim with AIG Europe over Bell Pottinger's role in the so-called white monopoly capital media campaign. The campaign using social media was found to be racially divisive. AIG Europe is the insurer for the now defunct PR agency. Ferial Haffajee, Peter Bruce and Adrian Basson, all seeking damages in England for defamation and breach of privacy. ENCA's Ollie Barrett joins us now from London. Ollie, good afternoon to you. So do we know any more details as to why these three journalists are doing that, and ultimately how difficult, I wonder, is this case going to be to prove?
Well, I've been talking to their lawyer here in London, and what he has been saying, Richard Meeran, who's at Lee Day, the legal firm here in the British capital, is that there are kind of two prongs to this. One is that complaint with regards to defamation and the suggestion from these three journalists and their legal firm that some kind of compensation should be paid to them as a result. They also want, though, as part of this process, access to documents from Bell Pottinger with regard to that period when there was that campaign being run on social media that, as you say, was found to be racially divisive. They do want to hear more information from Bell Pottinger to get their hands on those documents, to try and get more information about exactly what happened, who Bell Pottinger knew what and when, and so on. So with regard to the claim that is being made, that is, as you say, now with AIG Europe. There's no specific number that's been requested or put on that claim at this point. It's up to AIG Europe to respond here. If all sides were to come to some kind of settlement, some kind of payment may be agreed, that would settle that part of the claim that's been put in here in London. If not, then it could be at that point that we head into court for more legal proceedings in a more formal setting. So all of that remains to be seen, but the complaint and the claim have now been lodged here in London by that legal firm Lee Day.
And the background to this, of course, is that the three journalists who are bringing this suit had published investigative reports that were very critical of the Guptas and their alleged corrupt relationship with Jacob Zuma, and that then started the Twitter bot fight back against the trio.
Exactly right. And what they say they want to know is exactly how much Bell Pottinger knew about all of the attacks that were coming their way via social media. The statement that we've got from Lee Day says the journalists alleged the tweets were highly offensive and falsely portrayed them as biased and lacking in integrity, and purveyors of fake news who were paid by their white bosses to criticize the Guptas. So that is what they are trying to get to the bottom of in terms of exactly what Bell Pottinger knew about with regards to these tweets. And the statement goes on, they allege that Bell Pottinger was either responsible for some or all of the various tweets concerning them, and or was knowingly involved in the process of their publication. So those are the documents that these three journalists want to get from Bell Pottinger to try and establish more detail about that social media vitriol that was coming their way.
And Lee Day also raises a very interesting and perhaps even a bigger issue here, saying the case highlights the increasingly worrying menace of social media backed by sophisticated technology. If, as you suggest, this does go to court, it could raise a very important debate over where journalism and public relations and where they meet is actually heading.
Yeah, exactly, and also the element of fake news in all of this as well. It could be very interesting if this case does proceed in some way. I've spoken to AIG Europe as well, by the way, and they say that they don't comment on individual cases like this, individual claims that are being made to them, but they certainly will be considering the claim that has come their way and the suit that is being pushed forward now by these three journalists here in London. And Richard Meeran, the lawyer for these three journalists, as I say, when I was speaking to him earlier, he didn't rule out the idea, the possibility that further down the line, if these journalists get their hands on documents which show information they didn't previously know about who may have been responsible at Bell Pottinger for some of these social media attacks, he didn't rule out the idea that some kind of other process would be pursued against individuals from Bell Pottinger. So keep an eye on that one as well. Bell Pottinger, of course, collapsed as a result of this scandal. In terms of the individuals there, people like Victoria Geoghegan, who were mentioned as being mixed up in this controversy, she's kept a very low profile since then. James Henderson, the former CEO of Bell Pottinger, has set up a new PR organisation here in London, very small at this stage, and of course those two individuals and others at Bell Pottinger suffered severe reputational damage as a result of this scandal.
Ollie Barrett is our correspondent in London. Ollie, thank you very much indeed.